Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearthstone 4. The New Order is Germany. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, we are still funding this, even though it said, I mean, monthly progress at 1%, it's not as good, but it's still, you know, kind of like, chugging along. Sabotaging the Saudis. The Baathist movement may be ideological strong, but several key things which are necessary if we wish to for it to triumph over all of its rivals. No matter how much aid we get to the Baathists, the governments and military infrastructure the rebels and insurgents simply do not. It is simply a fact of life that we cannot give these to our allies. However, if we are able to take them from our enemies, this serves the level playing field just as much. Okay, so they get some penalties for an entire year, which is pretty substantial. We still hold Cairo. I would love to send you more volunteers. We cannot do that quite yet. We need this to finish first. It allows us to send more volunteers to our allies. Are you also Baathist? Maybe. Actually, does it say that they're Baathist? It just says communist, which is not... Does yours say communist or just say Baathist? It just says communist as well. Which is not super great. Oh, did we lose? Okay, so we've lost in 2 of our states now. We've lost in Iraq, we've lost in Yemen. But we don't know who's actually won yet. I guess we'll go emergency policies next. I want to send more volunteers here. Apparently we send you 0. I don't think that's actually true. But that's okay. So we're going to send you... Apparently we're at 0, which is not actually the case. Send air volunteers available. Is it though? Is it really? I don't know why this is like kind of glitched out. Sure, send you air volunteers. Can I send another volunteer to you? You consider generation of volunteers, your maximum is 1. You have 1 volunteer force, your maximum total is 1, limited to the number of their provinces. So I'm not too sure exactly how this works. I don't like how Japan is here. That does kind of ruin our prospects a little bit. Send more weapons to Iran, send them to the Dofa Rebellion. Again, like, you are not living. Like, as much as that pains me to say, like, it's obviously not going to happen. How close is... Well, Imam Iran is going to collapse soon. The Egyptian Civil War. We are half dead, but you're also very close. That's actually owned by Italy. You're a core state worth 1. You're not actually a state. You're not a state they own. I'm going to be a little bit risky here. I'm going to try to move away to Alexandria. And just hope they don't take Cairo in time. Hey! We've won one of our fights. And I think Egypt is a pretty powerful one to have. Diplomacy in the Wasteland. One of the great victories of the past decades was not only destruction of the cancerous heart of Bolshevism in the form of the Soviet Union, but also the annihilation of the United States concept of Russia and its colonies. Never again will the Slavs dare to build a state to rival the Reich of the Reich, and in the absence of a strict authoritarianism of the successive governments, the illiterate Russian peasant would revert to its base instinct of violence and raiding just for any meaningful future. Or at least so we thought. During the First Russian Fury and dismissal of the Russians, then came the West Russian War, and while officially we swallowed the Bolshevik hordes aside with ease, the reality is the state was severely weakened by the conflict, and the integrity of their eastern lands was considerably compromised even up to this day. Now the specter of the conflict rears its ugly head again. While long expected, there was some sort of unification attempts between the unorganized warlords of the European Russia and Western Siberia, following the suspension of punitive air raids during the Bürgerkrieg. An unexpected development was the reformation of the Siberian states through the collapse in the 50s, thanks to the combination of foreign intervention and refurbished Soviet industry. Now Russia has been rapidly coalescing into 2 powerful blocks, faster than what analysts thought possible. And what's worse, they appear to be engaged in diplomacy with each other. A reunified Russia cannot be allowed to happen. While we would, of course, win, any potential conflict would cost the lives, money, and damage to our right combat strats could easily be prohibitive. Okay, we have a new special operation, so I'm guessing we're going to try to ruin their plans. 81% success. Let's go. See how we can do in here. Spend more points on you. The revolutionary has 1 in Egypt. Excellent. Okay, so the Nasrus is 1. So we have 1. We've won in Egypt. We lost in Iraq and Yemen. Again, I think Egypt is a good... Well, I mean, Sudan we're going to lose in. Like, that goes without saying. And you're backed by the Americans. Which is very annoying, for sure. We'll research you. We'll research you. I thought we could be able to send more volunteers. You know, I thought that would be nice. We have a new president of Brazil. Do I care? Not really. Stirrings in the east. The chaotic situation in Central Asia seems to be coming to a dramatic finale. Turkmenistan has called together a conference of every player in the landlocked heart of Asia to decide for the future of the region. Political turmoil and border disputes have been characterized the area for decades, but this conference is the first true solution to emerge from the confusion. It is undoubted that, despite their ideological differences, most of the region will seek to unify to combat their neighboring rivals, Iran and Afghanistan. Both the countries plagued by independence movements, domestic upheaval, and international dispute, a mixture that could spell defeat should the Central Asia rise to fight them. As the conflict approaches, our diplomats are prepared to intervene. While the people of the region might be below us, many are sympathetic to the Bolshevik cause. The Turkish are already fostering allies among their ranks, but ready to use them as another piece in the ever-growing Cold War. Meanwhile, the Japanese seek to continue to battle them and break up the conference as to aid their fledgling allies in Afghanistan, who is actually allied to us, but don't worry about that. These are concerning developments, but thankfully, there is one force in the area interested in aligning with the Reich. The Turkestan Legion has long sought our help, and while we had sent them some aid previously, it seems time to throw a full weight behind our newfound allies. So we are... I think it's you? I mean, you're revolutionary nationalism. You are fascist. And are you now under foreign policy? The answer is yes. Raise suspicion of Japan. Well, increase you, increase you. Well, increase tension within the conference. Is there any reason for me not to just... send all of these done? Like, just do all of them? I have so much political power. Okay, my command power is running a little bit low. I will admit that. By the way, dude, do you not reinforce? No supply from capital. The blurry soldier collapsed into his bunk with a heavy sigh. A nauseous concoction of excitement, confusion, and terror swept in within him. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. An Aryan soldier does not feel fear. Adolf Jaeger could feel the locket burning in his chest, begging to be opened once more. He pulled it over his head and flicked it open, caressing the portrait within with his callous thumb. Gertrude smiled back at him with a shy expression that he had fallen in love with. Young Hans sat on his left knee, grinning with all his teeth. Ada sat on her right knee, staring with a resolute expression unbefitting a young German girl. Adolf shook his head with a sad smile. He lost brother and cousin to Bürgerkrieg, but God has seen fit to spare his wife and children. He held back his tears and tucked away the locket. An Aryan soldier does not show weakness. The horrors of the Bürgerkrieg still ravaged his dreams at nights and seized him in quiet moments, but its consequences have brought him comfort. The security of Bormann's regime had provided stability for the fatherland, the traitor Speer, Göring, and Heinrich had been vanquished, the Reich was standing strong, at least that was what the TV told him. An Aryan soldier does not doubt his Führer. Yet he could not comprehend the upcoming deployment. He would be transferred all the way to the Middle East to fight enemies of the Reich he did not know, and aid allies who the Reich did not understand. Why was he fighting on behalf of non-Arabs? Why were they to fight in a far-flung land? How is this spreading the cause of National Socialism? How did this protect his family? Well, we're going to... I guess I can't recall you, right? Yeah, it's not a thing that exists in, normal... Regal in the East. Modify the oil crisis, liquidate our assets. Let's wrangle in the East. Seems okay for us to start. So, I mean, we are going to lose in Sudan. I'm going to assume we're going to lose in Oman as well. Which is a little sad, for sure. I want to send you. I want to send another unit. I mean, the Americans are going to crush us in Oman. So, let's see. Oman is going to go underneath the sphere of the Americans. Yemen is in the sphere of the Italians. Egypt is going to be in our sphere. I mean, they are in the United Arab States. United Republic of the Arab Gulf. They're up there with Syria, Revolutionary Ba'athist. I mean, are they pro-us? Kind of, but like at the same time, they're a bunch of communists and left-wing nationalists. Also, I don't know how you're still alive. I guess you still have this area in the south, but I would be hard-pressed to see you winning anything. You know what? We can send 3 volunteers. So you know what? Let's send 3 volunteers down there. I think it could maybe be useful. You're going to die. Like, that goes without saying, for sure. I'm going to pull you out. By the way, how does this affect the Cold War in terms of our victories here? Moon landing, stalemate. We murdered you. Oil crisis ongoing is at 10. The yellow fields of fuel. I tell you, Farmer Barman said to his disappointed wife, the fear's onto something with this Raps thing. If we start early enough, we'll be rich. Damn it, Otto, he wasted so much money on this Raps thing already. Why the hell did he buy more? This is a much more than our required growing amount. I promise you, if we start early enough, we'll make it big, Marta. We'll finally be rich. And then, come on, Otto. People are going to starve from this. Less fueling and food means less food. Who's going to get the brunt of it? That's the thing. The Fuhrer's got a solution for that, too. He just cut slave rations a bit, that's all. All rested for a bit, panting from his hard work, planting Raps. Marta looked at his face. His eyes were full of hope for the first time in years. You're subhuman anyway. Marta sighed. You never give up, even if it's a pipe dream. I'm sure things will go fine. I'm sure nothing bad's going to happen here. Okay, so you guys are all getting done. I'm guessing is this suspicion of the prosperity sphere. Tension with us. 91 points for the Pact. 400 some points for the Turkish. Whispers of Dissent. General Lieutenant Reichskammer, head of the military Espionage branch of the Ornan Police, marched into Fuhrer's office with grave concern etched into his blanched face. A thick black briefcase rested at his side. Bormann was about to scold the man for not knocking, restrained himself. Such a rude act Elsie spoke of the severity of the upcoming topic. Heil Bormann! Gerlin panted as he saluted before placing the beacon on the desk and pulling out a vast assortment of documents, folders, and tapes. He finally sat down and took a deep breath and stared at Bormann straight into the eyes. My Fuhrer, what I'm about to say is of consequence of both research and speculation. He adjusted his square glasses. I had reason to believe there was an internal conspiracy against your leadership. A conspiracy within the government itself. Bormann stared back silently, gritting his teeth. Gellin cleared his throat and ran through the evidence. I have tape recordings and our transcripts. I've obtained letters and diaries. I will admit that none of this evidence is all enough to make any arrest, but I'm willing to accept that confirmation bias is at play. But I don't think we can take the chance. Gellin has must have get fed. Yeah, Gellin, I believe in you. Look, that's a trustworthy face. Yeah, I mean, he might sell me some blue meth, but we're not going to worry about that too much. Okay, the investigation has begun. I'm going to put my unit over here so that they don't die when this city falls, so that he can at least come home. I would consider that to be a benefit. Who would I want to fight first, though? Because you're pro-Japanese, you're pro-American, and then you're pro-us. Well, I'm going to set you on this border here, because that looks a little bit less defended. Anti-OFN protests in Iceland. Let's fucking go. Yes, I'm going to send... It's probably 2 units here. I'm going to send 1 unit up north. I think that seems okay. Church is now opposed to us. No, they're not. Okay, Turkish points, tension. We have another report. Operation Status Report. We have successfully falsified a document purporting to be from various ministries of one of the emergent states. Suggests multiple narratives of foreign collaboration with non-German actors. Alleged collaboration with the Reich authorities and firms been judged too likely to be empowering extremist elements within the factions. The Russians and the Reich. Analysis of recovering transatlantic propaganda. A list of suitable local candidates for dispersal has been located. Their backgrounds have been vetted as signs of intelligent affiliation with the local humanist assets. If a number of candidates are judged viable channels for dispersal, stage 3 will commence. Ensuring leaks of the documents will coincide with the next phase of diplomatic negotiation between the emerging Russian states. It is hoped to ensure scandal will be interrupted negotiations, probably to the states down a path of mutual armed aggression. Note: at the suggestion of the Reich's Chancellery, psychological, political, and racial profiles of the leadership of the Russian states have been included in appendices C, D, and E. Okay, tensions go up by 10 points. That sounds good to me. We've wrangled in the east. Tension is high. So maybe we don't want to get tensions up too much. If we can lead these guys to be pro-us. The new corps would be able to send more volunteers. More volunteers. Involvement will go up more. Let's ramp up production. Sounds good to me. And what I want you guys to do, I guess we'll have you move towards the capital here. You're not part of the, well, you're actually technically part of our core territory. So we can maybe kill, like, one of you. Okay, so we've lost an Oman. It's a little sad, but that's okay. So let's see. Foreign policy. Defeat, victory in Egypt. I mean, if we can get you on side as well. Secret recording device in the Reichshall revealed discontent among our reformist allies. Tapes 1 and 2 in the attached envelope contain audio from 4 separate conversations between party bureaucrats and Weimar officers, who are each named on page 2 of the accompanying documents. Investigate. Keep on investigating. But I will say that at least right now, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. If not, you can always thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.